Hello! Hello to all the BizHub regulars, the members and viewers today. Hello and welcome to the Signal BizHub, the place to come and do business in Borden. We're here to learn, help you learn, inspire and grow your business. It's lovely to have you here today. Give us a comment, tell us that you're here, that you can hear us and that we're not talking to ourselves in a room. Pleased to see you here. Hello, Trevor, lovely to see you. Thank you very much for coming. Today we are Friday the 22nd of May. Today is a member spotlight session. We have 3 of our fabulous members, one of whom is a new member. Many of you may not have met him before, so that's going to be exciting. And we are going to be chatting to them about their businesses, how they got into the business they're in, what they're doing, what they looking forward to doing. So all of that just coming up. We're going to run through some notices and then we'll be straight into that with my co-host as usual. So hi there, Keith. Lovely to meet you. Sarah, thank you very much. Good morning to see you too. Graham, lovely to have you here. Hello there, Noam. Saw your rant this morning. Say no more. I'm with you on that one. Dave McKinney is here. That's fabulous. Hello there, Dave. Susan Griffiths, morning. How are you? How is Tatty Goose doing? We'll catch up very soon, I'm sure. Good morning, Emma. Lovely to have you too. So let's get on. Let's bring her in. The absolutely effervescent and irrepressible. It's my lovely co-host, Louise Eldridge. Come on, give her a round of applause. Whoop, whoop.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. Morning, Stu.
Good morning. I've had a fabulous week. What about you? Had a fabulous week?
We had a busy week, actually, Stu, to be fair. It's been another busy week at Signal. We've had Signal Radio. We've had LinkedIn Local. We did a webinar yesterday. We're here today. It's all go, 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 and very busy. So, yeah, I've had a good week.
Hey, look, I know I'm biased. I know I'm sort of the host with Gareth of Signal Radio, but this week's, I've got to say, I'm still chuckling at our guest, Rob Alliston from the Phoenix.
Yeah.
What a great guest, great stories.
Fabulous. It was a great show. It was really good. I don't know whether anybody in the audience, give us a thumbs up if you did manage to see it, or if you haven't seen it, catch up on the Facebook page. But yeah, it was a really good show. So, yeah, and of course the tennis courts are open again. Hurrah!
Ah, so you've been out there.
So I've been out smacking a ball, which has been really good. So yeah, it's been a good week so far.
Oh, we've got a hello from Helen and another one from Russell. Hello, Russell. Hello, Sue. Lovely to have you. Sarah, thank you. Great show. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's on the Signal page. Go and have a look at that. If you want to see Signal Radio, if you want to hear it live, we find out all of the kinks. It's live at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday. But enough of that. Let's move on. We are saying hello and welcome to all our members. Thank you very much for jumping online today and coming and being a part of this community of small businesses. We really do appreciate it, because otherwise it would just be me and Lou talking to us.
Ah, we can chew the cud, don't you worry.
We can. So as you know, every week we do a different thing. Week 1 is an inspiration session. Week 2 is usually a workbook session. Week 3 is a member spotlight. Week 4 is mini mastermind. We have 2 sessions of mini mastermind. The morning session, which is completely full this month. I saw the attendee list yesterday. 10 out of 10 slots are filled. But the afternoon is still available.
Yeah, sorry, in the afternoon session, there's still 5 places available. So if anybody wants to join the afternoon session, there are 5 places.
And do remember that if you, for whatever reason, even if it's even half an hour before you're due to come online and join the session, you can't make it, please do let us know. Let somebody know in the team, and we will go and tell our waiting list that a spot has opened up. So that's Mini Mastermind. So yes, today we've got this intro. We've got our guest speakers, which are all the members that have joined, that will join in and talk to us about their business experience and what they've been doing and what they are going to be doing. Then we'll have a quick coffee break at 10:30 for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and we're doing a workbook session, and we're going back to basics. And I'm going to be running that, and it's called So What's Changed? And it's all about business in this post-COVID-19 world that we are living in. So what has changed? What do you need to do? What perhaps do you not need to do? So we'll
are we going back to our roots, Stu?
We are back to basics. This is a real back to basics.
Are we going to break into song, or we're not going to bother with that?
Well, I've had quite a few conversations with business owners over the past few weeks, and one thing that has really struck me throughout all of this is when we went back to January and I looked at our Jumpstart January event, there is still some great inspirational stuff in that helps people to keep themselves on track. And I think people are a little lost. They're a little bit like, what's going on? The world has shifted, everything's changed. Well, in actual fact, not much has actually changed if you pare it back and go back to basics. So we'll be looking at that in the second session. So I really do hope that people can join us for that and get some clarity around what they're doing now in this, what seems like topsy-turvy world that we're living in.
If anybody saw my Facebook Live this week, if you haven't, it's available on the Signal page. Just go and view it, up my views. But anyway, it was all about that. It was all about change. It was like how we've adapted to change and how we shouldn't be scared of change because we've adapted incredibly well. So going forward, we're now, you know, we now know that we can adapt to change. So yeah, it's really important, that message.
Absolutely. And as business owners, that should be one of the strong points that we have, that, you know, the marketplaces do change, the customers' demands change, the world changes, and it's being light on your feet and adaptable and being able to see change as an opportunity and not seeing it as a negative thing. And it can be really difficult when your entire world is upside down and you're not allowed to go out and all of that. So we'll be looking at all of the various things that you can go back, look back at, pare down, go back to basics, start answering some very simple questions to give you some clarity on moving forward. So I'm looking forward to that one, actually, because I've been doing it recently for myself, just like, you know, what do I need? What do I not need? What is really clearly in demand? And going back to my basics and my roots. So that'll be an interesting one, and we'll be on that from 10:40. So we look forward to you coming back to that session after the break. Okay, LinkedIn Local, Lou. LinkedIn Local, talk to us about it. It was this week?
Yeah, it was the second one we did this week, and it was really great, actually. There were a couple of new people there. It was good to go and meet new people, because in this environment that we're in, you don't often see anybody that you don't know. So it was really good, well attended. So the next one is on the 16th of June. Book on in the normal way on our page. Come along. It's interesting to see what other businesses are doing. It's just always interesting because you get those little golden nuggets from, and you think, it's inspiration. And at this time, we all need inspiration. It's also good to start forming sort of good relationships with people outside of your immediate circle. So it's a really good opportunity. So please come along and join us at LinkedIn Local. The next one is on the 16th of June.
Yes, I've been invited to a few online networking events, and it's interesting to go and see lots of new faces, because I really haven't seen very many new people.
No, exactly.
Weeks. So that was quite refreshing. It was quite nice to connect and meet new people. So definitely worth going along for that.
I mean, Sarah Bass has just said it was great coming along last week, and love the connections that people were making. So yeah, Sarah, thanks for that. It was really good. It was a great session.
Excellent.
Good.
Okay, so May has all been about business costs and learning how to control those. Today is the member spotlight. Next week is the members only mastermind. But do remember that you can go into the signalborden.org website, into the members area, and the videos of previous sessions are there with any of the materials that you need. So if you need any help with that, get in touch with Gareth. He will happily help you log in and take advantage of that members area. If you don't know where it is, go to our website. It's there, very easy to find. And you should be able to log in. Should have had an email, search your emails. So next month, Lou, it's going to be an absolute stonker of a month. I'm really looking forward to this one, because the first month is the power of sending great sales letters by post.
By post, did you say? Goodness.
Yes, by post. I mean, talk about going back to basics. But how many people get letters these days?
Exactly. So yeah, it should be a really good talk. That's by Vanessa Langham Day. I'm sure some people have met her already and seen some of the presentations that she's done. So that will be a really good session.
Yes, the butt kicker. And she would like to rewrite your sales letters. So this is like somebody looking over your shoulder and telling you what to write and how to increase the response from your sales letters and your sales emails. So send them through to us and we'll pass them on to Vanessa, and we will guarantee that they will be better after this session than before it. So please, please, please do send us those letters, even if they're just drafts at the moment and you're scratching your head and you're not quite sure and you don't have any clarity around it. Send that through to us and we'll happily pass it on to Vanessa and make sure that she looks at it for that session and gives you some feedback. So that's, I mean, that is gold. That is absolute solid gold. Then the second week, we've got 12 key, I'll say that again, I'll go a bit slower.
Put your teeth in, Stu.
12 key strategies every business owner should use to supercharge their results. So another great session, another chance to look at how to grow your business, even in these tough times that we find ourselves. So again, you know, back to basics, selling, finding customers, using the old way of doing business perhaps to leverage the old technology, couple it with the new technology and supercharge your results. So I'm quite looking forward to all of this.
And just on that, Stu, Tony Ashbolt is actually delivering that, who's one of our members in the spotlight today. So you'll be able to meet Tony in advance. So Tony's delivering that session.
Absolutely. So definitely come along to that, because Tony is here today and you'll be able to meet him and form an opinion and come along and learn more about selling and sales and all sorts. So it'll be great. It'll be a great session. Then we've got another member spotlight session in the third week, and of course our 2 members only mastermind, mini mastermind sessions on the 4th week of the month. So looking forward to that. That's all of June. So don't forget to stay up to date on all of the information around the current situation, the COVID-19, anything that the government's putting out. We are keeping our website up to date, and you can find it all on /newsflash. That's where we put all of the links to any of the articles that may be of interest on the blog. But do come along, have a look at that, look at the blog. Great information, some great stories, and some great blog posts. So do use that, bookmark it, and keep up to date with all of the current changes. So who's had a win this week? Come on, people. Lift our spirits at the end of the week. Put something in the chat. Tell us what you've been up to. Tell us what you've been winning at this week. Even if it's just a little personal win, we are here to celebrate your wins. So did you have any wins this week?
I think the win for me this week was actually leaving the house. It's on a person, and leaving the house and going and playing tennis, because I haven't left the house really at all. So for me, that was really good. And it really made me feel a lot better, actually. So it was good to get outside and get some really good exercise. So for me, that was definitely a win. I have to say. It was really good. I'm not so sure Brian, my husband, enjoyed it, because I was properly pelting balls at him. so yeah, but no, it was really good. It was really good to do something different, I have to say.
So I had a little win. I've made a really good connection with a new supplier for a little project, a little side project. And it sort of started as a kind of just a dialogue. I was just asking on the off chance, could they help me? And it suddenly turned into this kind of partnership where they want to drop ship my posters. So I will get the sales, they will deliver and fulfill them all for a fixed price per poster. And I think that's a great win for both parties. You know, we share in the spoils of what's happening. So nice little win, I feel, you know, a little pat on the back.
Pat on the back, definitely. We've had Sarah Bass has said that she completed the 2nd week of Couch to 5K run, which is really good. Well done, Sarah. I stopped in week 2, so you're ahead of me. Well done, Sarah. That's really good. And Dave has put on that he had a great testimonial video from me, Louise, which is lovely. So good. I'm pleased you like that, Dave, and it was all true, obviously.
Fantastic. And as Emma said, we had some great respondents to our webinar, a few technical hitches, but we overcame that. And that was a bit of a win, you know, just keeping going and ignoring the problems and acknowledging them and saying to people, you know, it's all good. Don't worry. We're plodding forward. But it was, we had a good response to that. I was really pleased with that. So the second one should be just as good.
Brilliant. Suzanne Driver has said she had a customer who had gone on hold, is now asking her to do more again and been able to get Janice out of furlough, which is brilliant. Well done, Suzanne.
Oh,
that is really good.
superb.
Fantastic. That
Fantastic.
is really, really good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
who else have we got? Russell, I had a nice kitchen order and took my first ever card payment online for the deposit. That's 2 wins there, Russell, to be fair. Mastering the technology and getting an order. Well done. That's really, really good. Very good.
Oh, I just spotted Sarah Bass has 3 new referrals as well.
Oh, gosh.
She's winning all over the place.
To be fair, I feel though that the momentum is picking up again. I certainly feel that, and definitely by these wins, it's, you know, it's really feeling like, you know, people are getting back to it. It's going to be slow, but people are getting into a different mindset. So this is all really, really good news. Really good news.
You know, I wrote a blog post on boredom the other day. I've had so much feedback from it. It's been great. But I actually think that entrepreneurs cannot get bored, because as soon as they start to get bored, their brain kicks in that goes, starts asking questions like, what if I do it like this? What if that happens? Why is this a problem? And suddenly they find themselves going down the rabbit hole of, oh, I could monetize this. That looks like an opportunity. And I think that's fantastic. So well done, everyone.
Well done, everybody. Right.
What is a very difficult time at the moment.
Brilliant.
So round of applause to you all.
Very good, everybody. Right.
Yeah, very good. So shall we get on with it? Shall we
Let's
get on with
the show?
Shall we? Excellent. Well, this week, I'm going to switch off. I'm going to stop sharing. This week is the member spotlight session. So I'm going to stop sharing and you get to see us. There we go, everybody. Hello. Lovely to see you.
And now, let's bring in our guests. So bring in our guests for today. Come on in.
Come on in, guests. Lovely to see you.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we've got Katrine, we've got Tony, and we've got Wendy. So good morning, everybody. Lovely to see you. What we'll do is we'll just get you to introduce yourselves and your business as a starting point. So we'll start with Wendy first. Wendy?
Okay, good morning everybody, and delighted to be here. So my name's Wendy, many of you know me from W Smith Admin Services, and we basically do what's on the packet, admin services for small to medium-sized companies, anything from managing CRM, marketing, research, day-to-day admin, HR assistance, health and safety support, you name it, we will do it. So that's what we do.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Right, can we go over to Tony? Tony, you're a new member, so yeah, take it away.
Yeah, Louise, thank you very much, and welcome everybody for having not met you all before. My name's Tony Ashbott. I'm originally trained as a financial advisor from Guildford back in 1986. I'm still a financial advisor, but I have a business, Connaught Corporate Solutions, and we specialise in high-level tax planning. Now, most people have a view on whether they think they should pay every pound of tax on everything that they earn, or they want to save every pound of tax. So you're either going to love me or hate me. I also do what we call estate planning. I've yet to see anybody's estate planning where their affairs are in the correct order. There's nothing that ever can't be improved, because it doesn't matter how much you make in life, it's what you keep that's important, it's what you pass to your next generation. So thank you very much for having me on here this morning.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tony, and welcome. Really good. Katrine, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, I'm Katrine. I can't see everyone, which is really bizarre. So hi to everyone I know. And for those who don't know me, I've got a company called Rain Hat Collection. So I'm sort of known as the Rain Hat Lady. I sell British-made, waterproof, stylish rain hats. So I have about 5 milliners that I get my hats from. And I mainly sell online. I go to a few shows, but it is mainly an online business.
Brilliant, thank you. And welcome to everybody. So today is very informal. So if anybody has got any questions or anything, put them in the chat. We'll put them to our panelists. It's very informal. Interject if you want to, but it's just to basically get to know you, get to know your business, get to know how you think in your business, and share some of your ideas, because it's all about learning and sharing and collaborating. So I'm going to ask questions in turn. Stu and I will mix the questions up. So he'll ask some, I'll ask if there's something extra you want to say, just, you know, just give us a wave and we'll bounce it around. So my first question to you all and is going to be, why did you choose the industry or sector or niche that you did? And I'm going to start with you, Katrine, if you could answer that, please.
Okay, well, to cut a very long story short, my father-in-law retired, got bored, started a business called Rain Mac. Sadly, he got ill, so I stepped in to help. Then, sadly, he passed away. We decided to sell the business. And then I thought, what can I do? And one of the things that I had sourced during my time there was British-made rain hats. So I thought, do you know what? This is a little business that I could start pretty risk-free, which I quite like the fact that you could go into something and I could get the feel of it. I didn't have to remortgage the house or anything like that in order to start the business. So for me, it was quite an easy entry into a business. And that's how I got into it. Not something I dreamt about as a little girl.
So did you use your contacts, etc., that you used in the previous business? Is that so? You piggybacked on the back of that? Okay.
Absolutely. So I already knew a few milliners, and so I contacted them and I said, you know, would you supply me? I was very surprised and encouraged because I contacted Olney, who's a big milliner, hat makers, who I didn't have any previous contact with. Said, you know, I was just starting a business, and surprisingly they sent me a sales rep who sat in my kitchen with a whole load of hats, and that's how we got started. So it was encouraging all the way, and yes, so that's how it started.
Brilliant. And how long ago was that?
It's coming up to about 3.5 years now.
Good.
So,
brilliant.
Yeah. So, and it's growing year by year. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, what about you, Tony? How did you choose your industry? How did you fall into it?
Well, I fell into it really by accident. Having left school, I went to train to become an accountant with what was Cornhill then, in Cornhill Insurance in Guildford and in the city. And to be fair, I was bored out of my brains. And I don't know whether everybody remembers when insurance companies used to come to your house to collect premiums from your parents. My mum and dad had the Pru. The Prudential used to come once a week to click up 2 bob or whatever it was. And I remember one day the agent said to me, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm trained to become an accountant." He said, "You'd be really good at this. Do you want to come and get an interview?" I said, "What?" He said, "To be an agent." I said, "What, collect money?" He said, "Oh no, it's much more than that. You get loads of time off and the money's excellent." 20 years of age, to hear that you can have loads of time off and earn a lot more money was music to my ears. So I went for the interview. That was back in 1985, and I'm still doing the same thing, although it's changed.
Wow.
The thing is, I love what I do. I found out I was good at it, and the accountancy has gone, because that was the most boring thing I'd ever done. Although I work with accountants all the time, it wasn't for me. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So it was by chance, and it was one of the best things that guy ever said to me.
Amazing. Well, Sarah Bass has just commented, actually, saying her dad worked for the Pru for 20 years.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, yeah. It's amazing how you just fall into things sometimes, isn't it? And what makes you, it could have been anything, I suppose, but any industry, you know, it could have been, you're going to have time off and you're going to make some money. Perfect. Yes. That works for me. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, thank you. What about you, Wendy?
Okay, well, I left school and went to work for Hitachi and to train to be an accountant. And I very quickly realised that I wasn't a person that wanted to be in the back office. I wanted to be a bit like Tony just said. I wanted to be out there. So I switched and became a trainee PA. I did day release at Pitman's in London and sort of got my admin experience, if you like, and that is what I've done all my life, working for companies like Hitachi, PricewaterhouseCoopers. And then I kind of had a moment where I really desperately needed a break. So I took an 8-year break and I retrained as a canine nutritionist. and bought a franchise business called Trophy Pet Foods, which we did for 8 years, and I made my money from selling dog food, and I loved every moment of it because it was so entirely different to what I spent my whole life doing. But of course the market changed, everyone was then selling dog food everywhere, and so I decided to go back to what I'd always done, but doing it for myself, because I'd run companies for people, and I'd been on, they were off on their holidays and I was there 12 hours a day running their office, and I thought, I could do this for myself. So that's how I've ended up back doing what I do now. Love it as much, but I really enjoyed that 7-8 year little, I call it my little break, and it was the right thing to do, actually, because I came back to doing what I'd always done, had to upskill a little bit, but with a fresh approach and a fresh, it's different when you run your own business and you're doing it for yourself. And what Trophy showed me was that I could do it. I could run my own business, and up to then I hadn't believed that I could. So
brilliant. It's that true entrepreneurial spirit, isn't it? Knowing that you can do it, and like, actually I can do it myself, and really make something of it. So yeah,
where I went to school, we weren't encouraged, we weren't to be, it's comprehensive in near London, and we weren't trained or taught to be the boss. We were taught to be the worker. We were never given that encouragement to go out there and really kind of go for it. So it sort of came a bit later on in life, really, the bravery. Yeah. So
better late than never is what we say.
Absolutely, never too late. Never too late to start. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you everybody for answering that. We're going to go on to the next question now, which is.
I would like to know, and I love people's backstories. Whenever I go on holiday, I end up chatting to somebody, and Jem, my wife, comes over and is like, what, and I was like, fascinating, this person is doing this, and they're like, and it's a completely different thing. So I would like to know, what one piece of advice do you wish you had been given before you had started your business? Is there some nugget that you think to yourself, if I had only known that? And we'll start with Tony.
Take more risks.
Oh.
What I mean by that is, most people in business are scared. You're scared to cold call. You're scared to invest in advertising. You're scared to set a webinar up. You're scared to employ as PA. And my advice is, don't be scared. Invest in yourself and invest in everything that you can in your business. Because I've been scared plenty of times, but you get to overcome that, and you make sure you get out of your comfort zone every day. That would be. It's really
interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting you say that, actually, Tony, because I was talking about that this week in the lives that I did. In this period that we've just had now, I've overcome a lot of fears that I've always had of various either technology or bits and pieces. But you've just been plunged into this, and you've just got to do it. So yeah, great piece of advice, actually. Don't be scared, because you can do it. Absolutely. Yeah, really good.
So Katrine, same question to you. What do you wish you'd known, or piece of advice you've been given before you started?
For me, I think, well, it's a learning process that I've worked out, is that you can't do it on your own. So although I thought, oh, this is a little business just for me, in actual fact, I couldn't have done it without my son, who helped me set up my website, my husband, who helps me a bit with the accounts, the hub. Since joining the hub, realizing that you're constantly learning. So to think that I could have just, been me in my garage selling some hats, it doesn't quite work like that. It's a constant learning process. And you pick up so much from so many people around you. So I think that's really, really important. And I hadn't quite appreciated how much this was going to expand my world, I suppose. So from that point of view, it's been really fabulous. Yeah, and interesting.
Yes, sometimes not knowing, to sort of couple yours and Tony's comments together, not knowing about something means you can't be fearful of it, so you go and do it anyway. And then you suddenly discover all these component bits, and then you go, oh well, it's not too bad because I've got that person helping me there and that person helping me there. So that's a really interesting take on it, definitely. Wendy, what about you? What do you wish you'd known before you started?
Well, I think for me, it's a little bit like Tony said, you have to be brave. You have to get your head around your finances. So whether that's get a good accountant or in my case, I do QuickBooks. But I think as well, you have to get over yourself a little bit. You can't spend, if you have a meeting, you can't then analyze it afterwards. Or I wish I'd said this, I wish I'd done that. You've just got to give your best at that time and hope it was good enough, and not beat yourself up afterwards that, oh, I wish I'd mentioned that, or I should have said I can do this, because actually I believe people buy people as well. So people buy people as well. So I'd sort of say, sort of just get over yourself a bit. If you're running your own business, you have to just take each day as it comes and move on, and don't beat yourself up. And I certainly spent some time doing that in the beginning, and that was a learn for me. Just be brave, get out there, and just and a bit like Tony said, take some risks, because you know what's the worst that can happen? What's the real worst that can happen? And that's what I kind of take with me each day, really. How bad can it be?
Yeah, be brave. Take those brave pills and just get on and do it. Absolutely.
One of our guest speakers recently said something which really stuck with me, actually. He said, nobody ever makes a bad decision. You make the best decision that you can at the time. You don't go out to set to make a bad decision. You make the best one you can. It could be bad, but you don't know that when you're making it. So it's true. Just get on and do it. So.
It's so relevant at the moment, isn't it? You know,
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it definitely is. Sarah said, Katrine, she loves seeing your new images of your hat.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I'm trying my best without models and whatever. But yeah.
Brilliant. So the next question I've got is relating to your industry, and you're all in completely different industries. So it'd be really interesting to hear what piece of advice you would give to somebody starting out in your industry. So Tony, can I put that one to you first?
Yeah, because I've made every mistake known to man and woman in my industry, from starting at the age of 20 when I was consciously incompetent. You know, you don't know what you don't know. My advice would be, only work with people that want to work with you. Don't chase lost causes. I have driven hundreds of miles to see people who are not there, who are not interested. You can end up seeing people for people's sake. And with my team, we make sure that appointments are pre-qualified. We know why people are going, and we're not wasting time. So don't just be busy for busy's sake. Don't be sitting around, you know, sharpening your pencils, putting your CDs in alphabetical order and counting your paper clips. Do the things that are important, but make sure, for people in my world, make sure you're seeing qualified individuals, because your time is valuable.
Yeah, that is really good advice. Really, I like the pre-qualifying of appointments. I mean, you know, because you're on wild goose chases otherwise for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I used to work for a chap who had a promotional marketing company doing promotional merchandise, and I was a freelancer, and I'd go in a couple of days a week. And one of the things when he was on the phone, I used to overhear him. He was a great sales guy, like really confident, really enthusiastic, really upbeat. But one of the questions he always asked at the end was, if we can do this for you at the right price, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the likelihood we'd get your business? And if it was anything more or anything less than an 8, he wouldn't bother. He'd just say to me, just cobble something together and send it to them as quickly as we can, just to show willing. But he completely took it off of his sales sheet. It wasn't even worth his time. He only went after really, really qualified leads. So it's a great comment, definitely.
Really good. What about you, Katrine? If somebody, what piece of advice would you give someone starting out in your industry?
I think being in retail, you have to have online presence. And I think now, since lockdown, it goes to show that you really do need retail presence online. I've already had a few shows cancelled in September. So I only do a few shows, luckily, so it's not the end of the world. But it did make me realise, thank goodness I have got a website and I can sell from it. And I guess, you know, with retail, we all know that more and more people are online shopping, but I think this pandemic has sort of accelerated that rate of change.
Yeah.
So
Did you, when you set out sort of 3.5 years ago, did you set out saying it's going to be an online business, or did you set out thinking it was going to be in a store?
no, always an online business.
Okay.
And I did do a few shows. I do a few shows, but only around Christmas time.
Right.
And the emphasis has always been online shows rather than going to exhibitions. So partly just because I think it's an easier way of selling and making money.
Yeah.
I do like getting out there and meeting people, so I think it's important to do that as well, but not
Right.
the main side of the business. So so yeah, that would be my tip.
Brilliant. Thank you.
I started selling online back in 1994, and I knew I was hooked the moment I woke up in the morning and I had money in my PayPal account.
Yeah.
That had come in overnight from a sale on a website where I'd posted some information and a link to a product that somebody else fulfilled. I got a commission, and I was just like, what, I can get free money whilst I sleep? Yes, please. Where do I sign up? So
it was a bit like when eBay first started, wasn't it? You put a few things on, you were like literally watching it the whole time. Think, this is incredible. I'm sitting here earning money. Amazing. So yeah. What about you, Wendy? What piece of advice would you give to somebody starting in your industry?
In my industry, I would say don't wing it. You have to have the relevant experience. If you haven't got the background experience, your clients will know. They'll see through you. And the other thing I would say is always do your research, check out your competitors, see what they're doing, see what services they're offering, their rates, and then aim to be better than them. That's the best you can do. So, and you know, there are some industries you go into, you can't make out you've got the experience if you haven't. You'll be, you know, people will see through you, and you'll end up looking foolish. So, and you know, always keep an eye on what your competitors are doing as well. Make sure that you're keeping up and you're coming in. If you're coming in for new business, you're coming in at the right level. And so, yeah, so that would be my advice.
Is it worse if you get a new client, for example, in an industry that you don't know, and they ask you to do a project or a piece of work? I think it's always worse saying, I don't know this industry, but I can certainly investigate. There'll be a bit of research time added on, but I will learn about it. I think it's
often and I'm always very honest, if I do have to do research time or learn a new software package, I don't charge for that, because the way I see that is, if I'm going to get that work and it's, you know, and it needs to be, yes, we're going to use you, then I will invest the time myself to learn their software or learn their industry, you know, do some research. And I do that at my cost, because I feel that they pay an hourly rate. That's my responsibility to actually, you know, find out about them. So I would never charge for that. So,
which again, though, that skill is transferable, so it just broadens your skill set anyway. So it makes sense to do that.
And there are some industries I wouldn't want to work with as well, actually. And I will be upfront about that, and just in a very nice way. But just, you know, yeah, there are just some industries which we won't discuss today, but I wouldn't feel comfortable working with them, and so I just sort of back away from that and say, and what I normally say is, I'm really sorry, I don't have the time to take that on at the moment. So, but I can refer you to somebody else, and I do that. I refer to other people in the industry. So.
One of the freelancers I work with, whenever I get him to do something, if he doesn't know how to do it, he stops the clock, goes and learns how to do it, and comes back. And when I discovered this really early on, I said to him, why are you stopping the clock? You're learning it to do what I'm asking you to do. And he said, yes, but I own the knowledge then. And that was a really interesting viewpoint, that if I stop the clock and I learn it, I then own it, rather than I've learned it for you, and therefore some way you own me to do it only for you. I really thought that was an interesting mindset. So that really dovetails in with what you've just said. So
I would never dream of charging a client for doing the research or learning their software. I just wouldn't, you know, it's my responsibility to be able to step in and do that.
Great.
Fabulous.
Thank you for that, Wendy.
Yes, thank you. So we've learned a lot about, you know, how you got into what you're doing, and some great pieces of advice there, some real nuggets. I've loved hearing them. We're going to move things on a little bit and come further along the timeline and come up to date. I would really like for you, and I'm going to go back to you, Wendy, describe a typical day in your business? Is there a typical day? What do you find yourself doing?
Well, pre-COVID, a typical day would be a day or half a day out at a client's, and then another day would be I try and sort of split it. So if I'm half day out the office, I've got half a day in the office, because where I have multiple clients and I work remotely for a lot of them, you know, I need to be in the office as well. So a typical day would be a sort of half a day away at a client's, and then a half a day in the office doing other things. Obviously that's changed now. So a typical day now is I'm in my office sort of from 9 through till about 4 or 5 o'clock. But yeah, so that's how it would have been. And I love those days. I like getting out to my clients, and you know, when you work on your own, it can get a bit lonely, Billy no mates. And so yeah, so you know, it's that balance, isn't it, really? But obviously I don't know if we'll go back to that. I think the way we're meeting now and working is going to be the new norm. So
yes, they're certainly talking in terms of months, and I've heard years.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah,
we just have to accept and move forward. And like I said, you know, entrepreneurs endlessly reinvent themselves and come up with great ideas. So, you know, if you're feeling downhearted and disappointed, go and get some new input. You know, stock the warehouse up. Go and look at the competition, see what they're doing, and see if there's anything that you can adopt that you feel comfortable with. So that's great way of doing it.
I have spent a lot of time upskilling and learning, you know, new skills while we've been in this, because I feel we should be doing that all the time anyway. But, you know, constantly we should be upskilling and making sure. I've caught up on all my sort of industry reading, if you like, from the CIPD, and you know, whereas you pile it up and you think I'll read that sometime, I've actually caught up with it, and that's felt really good as well. So I've got a spare tray now in my office.
Brilliant.
My grandfather was in his late 80s when he passed, but he was an absolute die-hard avid bowler, green bowling. And him and my nan, I've got a photograph of them surrounded by silverware, literally surrounded by silverware. And they were going to the Commonwealth, but my nan wouldn't fly, so they didn't represent Britain. But he was absolutely fanatical about getting on the green as much as he could, and reading about all the new bowlers coming into it and all of what the new techniques and everything was. And he said, if I don't keep up, I become irrelevant. So it's totally what you're saying. Yes, absolutely crucial. So Katrine, what about you? What is there a typical day online? You know, tell us what a day for you is.
It's a bit haphazard. It really depends on the time of year as well.
Sorry, did you say haphazard or haphazard?
I wish I had done, but you got there.
You can use that.
Fake as you are. It's so seasonal. But I will move on later on and to let you know what my latest project is. But for now, I'm obviously busier when the weather is well, when it's raining. But I will always check my Shopify account, and they give very good analytics. So obviously, whether I've got orders, I can then just analyze what's being looked at. What's abandoned carts, and really it's just checking all that, checking emails from customers and milliners, and then packing and sending off the hats. And then, like Wendy, I'm always learning. So, you know, SEOs at the moment, I've been watching lots of YouTube videos on Pinterest. So there's always something to do. So it's just a matter of how pressing things are in terms of sales. That will be autumn and winter. Spring, summer, I definitely it's more just upskilling, really. So yeah.
You mentioned the platform Shopify. I've got to say I've been using it for a few years now, and it's just got better and better. We're
fabulous.
Suggesting to clients now that don't use anything else for e-commerce, because it's so quick and easy to set up and customize and do what you need to do with it. So it's a great platform, a good choice.
Yeah, and then you know they have things like Shopify Academy. So literally, and that was I have been pretty good at that, but ever since lockdown, I thought, right, I'm going to learn something every day, sort of thing. So I just watch a Shopify Academy, and just it's there, it's easy, a quick 40 minutes. You know, what's there to lose, really? So so yeah, that would be my typical day.
Fabulous, excellent. Tony, what is a typical day in your business?
Well, a typical day in my world is kind of the same every day because it's client facing, but I always make sure that I have a diary that's packed, because if you get white space in your diary, it's like dancing with the devil. Right? Because if you haven't got stuff to do, that's when you can go off track. So and that's why people who are unsuccessful in business don't have a full diary, and then that's when they start making mistakes. So I always get up, I'm an early riser, and I make sure I'm up 5:30, 6 o'clock every day, and I'm out, and I'll typically run 5 to 10K every day before breakfast. But while I'm out running, I've got my headphones on and I'm listening to something that is relevant to me. And I listen to loads of stuff all about personal development, whether it's about attitude, whether it's skill set, whether it's selling techniques. So I get everything on Audible. You know, get the app. If you haven't got the app, get it on your phone and listen to stuff. I'll then come back from my run and I'll write out my goals, because when I write my goals out every day, it just realigns my subconscious brain. Why am I doing this? Why am I a financial advisor? Why am I offering tax advice? Because at the end of the day, I want a good life for me. I want a good life for my partner. I want a good life for my children. And by doing that, by keeping a focus on what I actually do and why I'm doing it, it keeps me sane, keeps me interested. And then I always check in with I have a full-time PA, Emma, who is worth her weight in absolute gold. Both my children work in the business, and I have a sales team. So I check in with them, all of them first thing. I'll then do all my client meetings, can be 4 to 5 at the moment because we're digital now. It's easy. And then close of play 5:30. I get all my sales team on a Zoom call, and we go through what we've all done for the day, what's worked, what hasn't. And then before I go to bed at night, I write out what I'm going to do the next day so that I can clean my brain out and I can have a good night's sleep, not worrying about stuff. That's a typical day.
Wow.
Wow.
Really, really disciplined and really important stuff.
Really good.
Yeah.
I have to be disciplined, otherwise I go off piste.
I like the way, and I've started doing that as well, your last comment about writing things down at the end of the day for the next day.
Yeah.
So you're not mulling over it overnight or whatever. You just know you're going to come to your desk the following morning and you've got your
That's
list.
it, Katrine.
It's almost your to-do list sort of thing.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
just has a full stop at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and then you can begin fresh.
You know
the
that
next day.
expression people say, go and sleep on it, and you come up with the idea, and in the morning you wake up and you've got the solution to the problem. Because by writing it out, your subconscious brain goes to work for you. It's your slave. It doesn't know whether you're telling it the truth or not. You tell it what you want to fix, it'll find you the problem. It'll find you the solution. It'll find you the answer. That's why I do it.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Really good idea. Really good. I mean, we go on to the next question, which is describe the ideal day in your business. Well, I want yours, Tony, to be fair. That's my ideal day, to be honest. You aspire to be like that, and it would be amazing to be that structured. I would love to be able to do that. But what is your ideal day, Katrine?
Oh, well, obviously I want to wake up and it's raining. One.
Yeah, not the
That
rest
is
of
honestly
us, but
my
you're all right.
best marketing tool is rain. If it's raining, I know I'm going to get lots of orders. So that would obviously be the best. I guess it's getting the testimonials. That's always so heartwarming and rewarding. Going to Mini Mastermind, I do find that really helpful because again, it's inspiring, learning from different people. So yeah, I guess it's in business. I guess it's the sales and it's the positive feedback. That's what keeps you going, and that's the enjoyment of the business. Yeah.
Well, Sarah says she's going to do a dance for you, a rain dance for you.
You noticed I did one early this morning, so we had a light bit of rain. I'm doing some more today. That's why we may possibly have more tomorrow.
What
No,
about you,
it's
Wendy? Can
very
you
grateful.
describe an ideal day?
Well, obviously it's very different at the moment, so I'm going to do it as is now,
Yeah.
which is not so different. But I mean, I love the days when I'm in my office, because I not in a similar way, but at the end of the day, I always tidy my desk, and I'll always leave I have my week fairly mapped out, but I'll always have a note of what's the most urgent thing, and I'm a great believer in do the worst thing first. So if you've got a difficult client call to make or something uncomfortable, get it done first, and then the rest of the day is a doddle. So it will be after breakfast into the office and do that horrible thing if I've got something horrible to do. But really, I suppose for me, it's just working in my office on multiple client projects, and the reason for that is I've got no travel time, no travel expenses, and so it's a good profit day because it's all time going onto my timesheets. And at lunchtime I can go and sit in the garden, have a sandwich or something, you know, and peg the washing out, and but you're working, you know, and I'm quite a motivated. I don't need somebody cracking a whip to make me sit and really work, and I do quite long hours just because I'm enjoying what I do. But that would be an ideal day, sort of just these days that we're having at the moment, really. And I have quite a lot of client Zoom meetings, so they take quite a chunk of the day as well.
It's interesting that you say the travel. Now that we're not traveling so much, you just can fit so much more in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's time, isn't it? I mean, the days of driving an hour to for a 40-minute meeting, that's just not going to happen.
No.
I would do it, but if we're beyond that initial stage and we're now looking at the real nitty-gritty of planning, okay, what am I going to be doing for you? How's this going to work? And I need to maybe come into the office and meet the team, but just, you know, for I'm doing networking online, and you know, we just don't need to do that anymore, and it's quite nice. I feel like I've got a better work-life balance at the moment.
Definitely. Yeah. And what about you, Tony? So you've described your day. Could it be any more ideal?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do, in my world, I live the dream for me because I actually love what I do. And I have lots of interests outside of work, but I genuinely love what I do. And I think an ideal day for me is when I've made a difference. I've made a difference to my client's world.
Yeah.
Because of my sales team, when I take people on that are brand new to this industry and I see them make their first sale, and I see them take on their first client because they've done what I've told them to do, that to me is fantastic.
Rewarding, isn't it, when that happens?
Massively. My son, Harry, who runs all our advertising and he does all the lead generation, when he comes to me and says, Dad, I've got 50 leads today for the sales team, qualified.
Wow.
He knows he's getting commissioned on all of those.
Yeah.
To me, puts a massive smile on my face. So it's making a difference for other people that makes me feel good. It may sound a bit cheesy, but it's actually
no. Yeah, it's completely. There's nothing better than that feeling of the reward that you get when something like that happens. So
Wendy made a good point about doing the toughest things first. I'm a great reader of books. There's a book by a guy called Brian Tracy, you may not have heard of. He's massive in our industry. It's called Eat That Frog.
I've read it,
If you haven't read it, absolutely read it. That was great advice from Wendy.
Brilliant, yeah.
Absolutely, I second that. That's one of my things, is get the tough stuff out the way and then you've got the rest of the day to enjoy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we're running a bit short of time, so I think we'll skip to the future questions, I think, Stu.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So, Katrine, what are some of your life goals?
Oh,
I know, a big question. Big question.
didn't quite know how to answer this. How deep do we want to go?
Oh, how deep as you want to go, Katrine. Tell us all.
Life goals. Well, I guess it's just to have a really good work lifestyle balance. So having work that you love and that it's rewarding and that it's making money, but with the balance of being able to enjoy your life and not be stressed out by work. So at the moment, it seems to be fine. So I have got plans for the future, which could make life busier work-wise. But yeah, no, that would be just getting the balance right.
Excellent. And what about you, Wendy? what are some of your life goals?
It's funny because I've always had struggled with this question, because for me a life goal is a bit like Katrine said, you know, to just have financial security for us and our family, and a bit like you, Katrine, we've got some really exciting future plans that we're sort of working on at the moment, and so I suppose in a way life goal is to bring family into the business, and that's what we're working on at the moment. My daughter-in-law stepping in, so life goals. Yeah, I suppose I'd like to travel a bit more and worry less, you know. But generally, I sort of actually feel like I'm living the dream a little bit at the moment, because I'm doing something I love doing. So your life goals kind of, I don't know, I've lost track of them really, because maybe I've achieved them. Maybe I'm here. This is it, you know, working for myself, enjoying what I'm doing. You know, some people would dream of that, wouldn't they? So
absolutely, yeah. Tony, what about yourself?
I'd echo Katrine and Wendy. You know, being able to do something that I love every day, because I see so many people who hate getting out of bed and going to work on a treadmill. And I'd say to those people, you're only here once. Life's not a dress rehearsal. Go and do what you want to do. Because if you don't like it, what a waste of a life. So I have some very, very clear, specific goals, and my life goals and business kind of overlap. Because I see how poorly people do their financial planning, do their estate planning, my vision is to grow my company to 1,000 people, like 1,000 advisors covering the UK. That is massively challenging, okay? And I have a 5-year goal to do that. Once I've done it, I'm going to develop it, and then I'm going to sell it for £1 billion. That's my goal.
Fantastic.
Wow.
So clear and concise as well.
Nice and easy. 2 lines on a bit of page.
Exactly.
Well,
it shouldn't be a long spiel. It should be succinct and to the point. Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, clarity like that is admirable. Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for our guests for coming today and telling us all about their businesses, their life, their goals, and sharing with us their knowledge, their skills and their experience. It's been fantastic to have a chat with you guys. Thank you so much for coming along.
That's been
Can I
lovely
just
to do.
interject? Katrine, you did hint on that you had some plans for the future.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So take it away.
Okay, so I keep being asked this question, and then I had a quarterly meeting with Emma. I have now started putting sun hats on my website.
Oh, exciting.
So just testing it, and of course you don't go to Rain Hat Collection for sun hats. So anyway, I bought domain names for Sun Hat Collection, so we will see how it goes, and possibly run 2 sites, 2 businesses alongside each other. So it's going to be a difficult one to judge in a way, but anyway, that's more technical Q&A with Stuart and everyone else about how you sell sun hats at the moment on a Rain Hat Collection. But I have already had 1 sale, so I think it's really targeting loyal customers who have been asking for sun hats.
Really
So
good.
we will see. We're testing it and see how it goes.
Yes,
That's really good.
Before, definitely. Excellent. Oh, well done, Katrine. You know, that goes right back to what Tony was saying at the beginning, you know, kill that fear. Just do it anyway. Just get on with it. And
I think
responses.
it makes a difference, doesn't it? Talking out loud with somebody. So you said from when you were talking with Emma, you know, sometimes by just talking to somebody and saying something out loud, it comes to fruition. So it's really important.
And someone questioning you, well, why aren't you? Why aren't you? Why aren't you? Sort of thing, you know.
We can get tunnel vision sometimes in our business, can't we? So it's really good to sort of open the blinkers sometimes. So that's really good.
Well done.
Really good.
And since pandemic, we've had the most amazing weather, so that was also a factor.
Exactly. And very quickly, Wendy, did you say you had something planned? Was that your daughter-in-law joining the business?
Yeah. So we're planning, and this is breaking news, really.
Okay.
But we are planning to bring our daughter-in-law into the business, and so she will work alongside me on the admin, which will free me up to be out with clients, because I can't be in two places. Yeah, we're kind of looking at a whole sort of family business at the moment, and our ultimate goal, and I suppose it is a life goal, is to give our family something that they can carry on into the future with financial security. So so that's
Brilliant.
what we're really working towards at the moment, and there's lots going on, and it's really I'm really excited about it, really excited. So
it is, it's really good to have a tangible goal, isn't it? I think it's really important for everybody to have a tangible goal that you actually work towards.
It's been something that's been buzzing around my head for about a year and a half, because I'm a great, well, it's the entrepreneurial thing. I'm always sort of thinking about the next, you know, and it's been buzzing around, and now's the right time for all of us. And so that's what we're moving towards. So I probably need to do a mini mastermind to get some help on that. So,
well, there's 5 spaces available on Friday afternoon.
I might well put myself, oh, I've got my granddaughter. Okay, yeah, next one. All right.
Brilliant.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming along. Oh, we've got the dogs.
Not mine.
Let the dogs out.
Yeah.
Oh, another
Roscoe's
song.
gone crazy.
Thanks very much, Katrine. Thank you very much, Wendy. And thank you very much, Tony, for coming along today and sharing your time.
Thank you.
We
Pleasure.
For having us.
Please
Yeah,
give a round of applause. I know we can't hear it, but
Thank
give a
you. Well
round of
done.
applause anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the spotlight session, which is now ending. We will be going on to the workbook session that I mentioned, going back to basics. So what's changed? And we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Don't forget the link that you will have been emailed for that session, because that is a meeting session where we can do breakout rooms, and we hope to see you there very, very soon. So 10 minutes, get yourself a drink, comfort break, and we'll see you back in 10 minutes. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.